So, I was hoping to start this show with talking about the good news that is a British 1-2 in the British GP. And we will come to that later on, of course we will. However, so as you know, I write these monologues at the beginning of every show. This one I've written in 3 or 4 different ways. It's probably the hardest one I've ever written. What I want to say I probably shouldn't say, I probably can't say. However, there is a fact that says it all for me. So, congratulations to the Birmingham team for a new club record, the most losses in a row in our history. Only at Birmingham. Well, good evening and welcome to the Speedway Tavern. We have with us the coughing Matt.
Sorry about that. Good evening.
We got Chris Webby-Brown.
Good evening.
And we got Elliot Hunt, who's going to become a permanent fixture by the looks of it. He hasn't left that chair. He's been there since last week.
We covered him up with a blanket, didn't we?
There was a plant next to him, he's ate it.
Yeah.
We've just had an entertaining half an hour watching you write your monologue down, scribbling bits of paper and throwing it across the room.
I can't put this in, I can't put that in.
Yeah. I mean, we're obviously going to talk about the British GP, but let's get last night's match, Birmingham versus Kings Lynn, out of the way and out of my system. What the hell?
It was a dreadful performance, wasn't it? Really, really was poor and epitomises the season, doesn't it? You know, that looked to all intents and purposes that a match that I think Birmingham should have been targeting as a win. Mm-hmm. Kings Lynn obviously have won at Perry Bar already this season, but I think it's fair to say their form has been patchy itself and pretty ropey.
If you was going to win any match, it would be that one.
Yeah, but really and truthfully, after 3 or 4 heats, Birmingham never ever looked like winning that meeting. Freddie Lingard, I would say that was probably Freddie's best performance at home.
He was really good.
Birmingham. Tom Brennan rode very well as well. I think Victor Lampard battled very hard. I couldn't understand the exclusion in the first days.
No,
I thought that
it happened right in front of me. He had no choice but to put that down, otherwise he was going to wipe everybody out.
But the rest of them, it was woeful.
I don't think Zach. I think Zach Cook had an okay night.
Yeah, battled.
He battled. Yeah,
but there's obviously Nigel Tully wasn't prepared to mention his name, but
so we've been trying to work out who that was. I've come up with a few ideas. Peter Poop was one of them.
Yeah. Peter Porlick was probably
Peter Porlick. Yeah. I mean, it's about time somebody called him out.
I think so. Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, you know that I don't like. How many times do I refuse to name riders that are underperforming or whatever, or criticise them, but enough's enough.
If I'm not doing my job at work, I'll get called out. Mm-hmm. You know, there's not really any difference, is there? It's been, he's shown the odd glimpse now and again, but I mean, this is a guy that's signed for Birmingham on was it 7.5 point average, I think.
Signed as our number one.
Signed as the number one. When the first green sheet averages came out, he was at reserve, and everyone's rubbing hands together, thinking, "Oh, he's going to fill his boots at reserve."
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
And last night he looked.
He was not even there, in my opinion.
Yeah, he looked like a novice.
Yeah,
it really did.
Almost, in some ways, it looked as if he didn't really want to be there. I thought
he just too tall aimed at the back.
So we got a few. Sort of comments coming up. Clive Woodier says, Birmingham fans, keep supporting your team. Some of us have no team, from a Bees fan. Yep. Well, that's true. I mean, as a Birmingham fan, we've been through that. We had 20 odd years of no team.
And I'm going through that now, of course,
yes,
myself. So.
Yeah. But you've got to give them something to support. You're down to your die-hard fans now that do turn up and do come and watch the team, come what may, because they want to see Speedway. And I love my Speedway, but you need something to support.
Yeah, it's been a cycle, not just for this season, but for the last 2 or 3 seasons. Really, since the sport resumed after COVID, it's just been you just seem Birmingham sort of locked in this endless battle to try and survive and stagger through to the end of the season, make big promises about rebuilding the following year, and for whatever reason, the following season doesn't seem to be. The only thing I would say is that the defeats have probably have obviously got smaller as the season's gone on. That's probably whether that means better performances or whether they've just been catching teams on the right night or whatever.
Well, you look at the team that we did beat last was Ipswich of all people, and we got the bonus point as well.
Yeah. As I said earlier, the ironic thing is the two matches that I've seen Birmingham win this season have been two of the best matches of the season. The Bellevue match was a cracker. The Ipswich match was really good. And Ipswich are going to turn them at Perry Barr under strength as well, obviously, without Jason Doyle. And I suspect we probably won't see Emil Seifert again this season.
Yep.
They're obviously reeling after that thumping. That it probably wasn't much such a shock that Leicester won there, but the scoreline, I think, took everybody by surprise just how comprehensive Leicester won there by. And Leicester could win the league, I think.
I was thinking about this last night.
They might be peaking at the right time.
Absolutely.
Unless both Ipswich and Sheffield, maybe a few chinks in their armour at the moment with injuries and things like that. So
we've got a few more comments coming up. And we do want to get onto the GP as soon as we possibly can. Brian Buck said last night's defeat was more emphatic than the score suggests. The last heat, 5-1, made it look closer than it actually was. I would agree with that. Craig Smee says, Birmingham, I think, have been exciting to watch. Not always. We have had some good, exciting matches, but we've had some real runs where we've just capitulated.
I wouldn't describe last night as an exciting match, to be fair. I thought it was pretty poor.
I think have been exciting to watch, albeit the points don't show for their efforts. Kingsley, even though they have less points, have been farcical on more than one occasion. Keep your chin up, Brummy fans.
Birmingham have been to Kingsley and lost by 30, haven't they?
Yeah, correct. Didn't we do lead in the first one? The second one we got hammered.
Yep, I've been going to Speedway for 35 years. And I reckon that zero score from Pavlichki was the worst zero score I've ever seen from a rider. He didn't want to be there from the start of last night. Barry Young says we have the same thing at Kingsley. And with due respect, I don't think you do. Your team have showed some fight.
They've been doing that for a while, yeah.
I mean, I thought at the start of the season, I thought Kingsley were going to have. They were in my top 4, Kingsley. Because I thought, they'd obviously got an exciting young side together, and it again hasn't worked. And but they had a little run, didn't they, mid-season where they were they
were pulling it back.
Yeah.
I don't think they were ever going to get in the top 4
coinciding with meeting us, of course.
Yeah.
Tongate Paul out of last night's meeting after a fall in Poland on Sunday in his first heat, but then he rode 4 heats after. But he's riding in Sweden tonight.
What?
He rode in Sweden tonight, got 4 points, so maybe.
Okay.
Hi all, loved Cardiff at the weekend, up the witches. There we go, we come to the end of the comments.
Yeah, we will keep you
But I suppose Oxford's season's already finished, isn't it? Really, they're going to be out the top 4 realistically.
Yeah, Leicester have got the top 4 now, haven't they?
And Bellevue are pretty much there as well on points.
Yeah, we think, I think you're right, Leicester could very well be the ones that end up with the trophy this year. Good luck to them. Pavlichki poor in Sweden tonight, 4 rides, 3 points, 1 win tonight.
Oh,
a win. How did he get that? Pavlichki got last night a minimum. That's what we Glasgow fans call it when you get all last places. Seen plenty of them as a Glasgow fan over the years. Keep positive, Brummy fans. You have got Speedway. Other fans around the country have lost their teams and tracks. And as I said before, we do understand that. We lost our team for 22 years, I think it was, something like that. Never thought we'd see it back, and it was so good to see it. But this is just so soul-destroying.
Everything seems to be at Birmingham, doesn't it? To be able to thrive for one reason, well, maybe not thrive, but certainly do better than it has been over the last few years. But it's just too many mistakes being made. That's from the top as well. Not just on the track, but off the track as well.
Absolutely, it's from the top down. Need to do better. Need to make appointments. I don't want to say too much more.
What do we do in the close season? How quick do we know we're going to be intent to even wide? That's going to be a big issue as well.
Well, I hope that they've already started looking at next year's team. They need to, because other teams will have.
Yeah.
Well, Birmingham really were behind the 8 ball last year, weren't they? Because they weren't able to declare that they were going to run until late, and of course everybody else was halfway down the road building their teams. It's not. No, it isn't the first time, to be fair. But this season, the noises that have come from Nigel Tully is that Birmingham will run next year in the top league, and they've got to get a start, because next season I think is a massive season for the club. They simply can't afford another terrible season like they've had for the last 2 or 3 years.
No. Sorry, there's more comments there I can't see, Chris. Oh no, I have read that.
You have read that, yeah.
Pete Clark said 3 points last night would have made a difference. I'm not reading out Fan Power's message. It's not constructive in any way.
3 or 4 points from Pavlichki would have made the difference last night, wouldn't it? But he never, I think he could have had another 4 rides, wouldn't he? And he'd have finished last in all those as well. So
should have. Wow.
I think he's still racing his last race.
Yeah.
So Birmingham can they, until they hear about the dogs? I mean, I've heard things that I can't repeat, but I think from what I'm hearing, that's a done deal now.
Right.
I hope I'm right. Fanpower massive season next year. Right, can we get rid of this person? He's annoying.
It's very silly.
There's
You just said that.
I mean, that's just We're not going to talk about that. Right, we've had enough of that. Should we talk about something good?
Yes.
Well, you retired, didn't you, last week?
Well, that's true. We've had a couple of rider of the nights in. Last night's defeat beat our all-time record of 13 successive defeats, which occurred in 1949. But our worst ever season was 1934, when we had 9 wins and 28 defeats. Not in a row, though.
Yeah. Oh, did you say them? Did you?
Wow.
Not in 1934.
No.
If you let the history book out, it wouldn't be like that.
Reginald Barker says, "Good evening, gentlefolk. Full of admiration and respect for witches, despite all injuries, just got on with the season."
Valid point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair play to them. But
so Fred Graham says his rider of the week sticks in his throat a bit, but Josh Pickering for Edinburgh against Glasgow, and 20 out of 21 for Sheffield. And Brian Reeson says Dan Bewley was poor last night for the Witches.
maybe whether he'd been over celebrating his results on Saturday.
I wouldn't blame him. Dan Bewley, by the way, is my. How can it be anybody else? My rider of the week. It was a bit toss up between him and Peter Pavlichki, but
there you go. 2 votes for Dan then.
Two votes for Dan.
Go on, Elliot. That's yours.
I'm going to say Freddie for doing really consistent for us and doing third in the Grand Prix as well.
Yeah, he rode well on Saturday. He did ride very well Saturday.
And yesterday, what about you?
I said Dan Bewley.
Oh, you said Dan Bewley as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep up. And Chris says Dan
Bewley.
Dan Pennell.
Dan Dare.
Oh, she was brilliant. She was.
Dan Bewley was poor last night for the Witches. Simon Corbett couldn't watch Speedway at Ipswich. Dreadful Gators track.
I've never been to Ipswich.
No, I haven't.
No.
Been once, but it was a cold night. The one in March.
Ben Cresswell says Dan Bewley is back at Foxhall on Thursday against us. Monday night was practice. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, Zach's there on Thursday to be practice for next Thursday.
Right, the GP.
Yeah.
First of all, what the hell was going on with that woman with the world? And
actually, I enjoyed that. I thought it was quite interesting, but I can't believe some of them left her hanging.
Yeah, who was it? It was one of the Polish riders, I think, that left her hanging.
He did go back afterwards, didn't he? I think. And,
did he?
Yeah.
I didn't pick that up on the tally, or I didn't see that. It was interesting. It was different. I mean, that's something that the British GP have always tried to do a little bit.
I've got to say, I thought that the build up to the meeting was pretty awful. There was, I don't know what you thought. I mean, I don't know what time you got into the stadium, but there was
nothing till that started. And I was there from about quarter to 4 forward clock. Yeah.
Yeah, it just you think they've always made such a big effort for
but the atmosphere wasn't it? So there wasn't even no stalls on the way to the entrance or anything. It was all
it did. It certainly didn't seem as many around the city as
I was thinking that. Yeah.
But
what was the gate? About 30,000. I was told. No, I was told about 30,000. Right?
I would, if it was bigger than 30,000, I'd be shocked.
Really? Okay.
Do you think it's more than last year? Because I'm thinking that. Last year was lower.
Me and my dad had a discussion about this because my dad thought it was up from last year. I'm not convinced it was. I thought it was slightly down on last year's.
Be interesting to see the official figures.
I would never tell you that, do I?
No.
But
only in Speedway.
Why don't they? Strange that is. It's not that difficult to count the gates.
Only in Speedway.
I think the biggest attendance there was 44,000. That was about 2010. But it certainly hasn't been anywhere near that in the last few years. But I thought, there's been a lot of grumbles about it on the good old BSF, but they seem to be very good on there finding things to be miserable about, don't they? So,
yeah.
But I thought
should come down to Birmingham.
I thought it was a pretty good meeting. I thought, I think it was the best Cardiff I've seen, but I've seen far worse meetings at Cardiff. I can tell you, I've seen far worse tracks at Cardiff as well.
Without a doubt, yeah.
Was the shape different, do you think? Because I thought it was brought in. Didn't seem as far out on the back straight.
Yeah, it did seem a little bit, to be fair. It did seem a little bit. But, no, there was one or two good races. The thing really that kept it interesting was it looked wide open, because going into the last few races, you could make a case for about 6 or 7 riders.
And one of those wouldn't have been Schmarzlik.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he was well out of it really from halfway.
That's right. Lebedev's impressed me.
Who's been given the vote for Rider of the Night, by the way?
Yeah, Lebedev's. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Lebedev's was was very impressive. Did well. I think had some pretty good races. Mikkel Mikkelsen, I thought, did well as well.
Yes, he's not did a lucky win over Tom as well.
Yeah, I think Brennan wasn't showed up at all in any way.
Just that little bit of inexperience, I think, at that level cost him in that race.
Yes, yeah, I would agree.
One big thing was they just spent like 20 minutes deliberating over who was no debt through and who was not.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a. I thought that was harsh on
Giusto.
Lots of conspiracy theories coming in and around the place about
They're
that.
talking about saying they've made a mistake after as well, potentially.
Well, there were a lot of people saying the FIM did it to try and make sure there was a British winner, but I don't think
so. I think we discussed this afterwards, and I think probably the fairest way to do it would have been to have a run-off.
I was thinking it'd be a massive one-off, yeah.
They had plenty of time to do it. It was about 20 minutes between the last race. So
to be fair, it was 4 steps, like we've done 28.
They rattled through it really well, to be fair, otherwise, apart from that. But no, it was obviously it's great to see. As far as I'm aware, that's the first time in the Grand Prix era that we've had a Grand Prix where there's been a British 1-2. I don't think it's happened.
No, I don't think that's happened. Definitely not. We only had 3 wins and didn't win those years.
Any Grand Prix, has it?
No. That's, you're probably. That's an individual event. You're probably going back to, was it 1980 when Michael Lee and Dave Jessup were first?
Yes,
I
think
probably
I
the
read
last time.
Somewhere that was the last time.
Yeah. But again, as is ever the case with Dan Bewley, he gets to a final, he wins it. It's a pretty impressive habit to have.
Final was pretty much clear after the first lap, anyway.
Yeah. Robert Lambert was obviously publicly was pleased for him, but I think privately he'll be saving money that he can't.
Yeah.
Do you know what? If I was Robert Lambert at the end of this season, the first thing I would do.
Is this your theory?
Yeah, I would pick up the phone and get on to Peter Adams. Now, Ty Wiffenden, obviously, I think Ty's pretty much says that he doesn't expect to be getting a pick.
No.
Correct.
Although he's planning to enter the qualifiers for next year to try and get back in 2026. But would Pete maybe move up? Pete's obviously still got unfinished business, I think, in Speedway, and I think he's one man that has got a great track record with helping riders win world championships. He's done it with Ty, Bruce Pennell, Eric Gunderson, Ollie Olsen, Samuel Malenko, all these riders that have won world championships, and he's been in their corner. I think that would be a real masterstroke,
Because Robert seems to always be. He's up there this year, like he's in the top 4 or 5, but he can't hit the heat.
He just can't get over the line. He always seems to have one bad ride. And what he was doing picking gate 2 when he had first pick in the final, I don't know.
I couldn't get, but then he actually won it off. But I thought, okay, the semi did that. As long as I didn't do that over.
Yeah, I know he said afterwards he had his reasons for it, but if you've got first pick in the final at Cardiff, you've got to pick gate 1.
Day 1 and Day 4 seemed pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, if I'd have been Dan Bewley, I'd have been, oh, cheers, Rob. I'll have Gate 1 if you're going to leave that.
Yeah.
So,
I think on the commentary, they said something along the lines of, "Well, that just goes to show don't ever give a rider of the calibre of Dan Bewley Gate 1." And it's certainly, yeah.
But then the semis,
He knows what he's doing in those finals, doesn't he?
yeah,
he does, yeah.
He's
Got that knack of being able to just get in the final and win it. And, you know, it's 4 Grand Prix, is it? 4 Grand Prix?
Four.
Already. That's a pretty impressive record for such a young age.
And how many finals has he been in? 4.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a record by itself, isn't it?
But I think really the biggest loser was Jack Holder. I think he blew a really big opportunity when he got to the semi-finals, and Smarslick didn't. You know, I don't think he would have caught Smarslick anyway, but he had to be really. He had to make the most of that chance, and he didn't.
So it's so far away, but then you've got that lovely battle for second and third.
Yeah, it's very close, isn't it? There's about 4 or 5 points in them.
Yeah,
in it for between first and right down
That's
to
how open it
6.
was.
It's very open.
Yeah.
so we have second to fifth, and you've got another battle then for 6 as well.
Yeah.
Then from next 4.
That's right.
Okay, so there's a few comments to catch up on if you want to back up a little bit for us. And a little bit further, I think. Okay.
I think we're up to there, I think.
Yeah, so Rider of the Week, Lebedev, we'll go a bit further down there. So I was talking about Dan Bewley being poor last night for the Witches. Brian Buck says that's not unusual. Bewley probably unwound a bit after his Cardiff performance. I can remember Ivan Major doing likewise at Cradley 2 days after winning the World Championship at Wembley. Ben Croswell, this is a story. We went to Cardiff on the Witches coach but broke down in Swindon. So a train ride was arranged for the rest of the journey. Well done.
Did you get there in the end, Ben?
Yeah.
You didn't miss any of the racing, did you?
Pete Clerk, do you think there was a better way than world ranking? Well, I think we touched on that. A race-off would have been fairer,
I
possibly.
seem to remember years ago.
Rock scissors.
I think it might have been the World Under 21 final several years ago.
Couldn't they have gone back to the time from the qualifying retention, the fastest times?
Possibly could have done that.
There's another thought. Makes the qualifying.
I was going to say the most ridiculous one I remember years ago was the World Under 21 Championship.
Not a bad call.
And, it got, and they decided to toss a coin to decide who would win the race.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember
some of them
that.
were automatically through. I think
They've
it was
done
more
that in
of
football before now, haven't they?
Wasn't
At
it?
World Championships, tossed a coin to see who qualifies. Who?
I don't know.
I think it was between only 1 or 2 wide. It wasn't because the third bit that sorted out anyway on wins.
It'd be right if you had one of Del Boy's double-headed coins, wouldn't you?
What, like that one that you got over? Yeah. Fred. Now that explains a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right, Fred Graham. The decision to drop Janowski out of semis was strange. Should have had a run-off, even though would have impacted the 2 Brits.
I think, to all intents and purposes, Robert Lambert thought he was at it. I mean, he was pretty much on the way back to the dressing room to get changed, and then. He was in it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the thing is, when it came up on the TV, Don Vasilik out first.
Yeah.
And then they changed the mind to something else.
I think they were all out at some point, weren't they?
So. That was all out. Yeah,
they kept changing.
On the television, they was talking. I said, "Oh no, it's Janowski's out. No, oh no, Bewley's out. Oh no, it's Lambert." It was literally like that. Brian Buck, within minutes of the last race at Cardiff, I texted the result to Central Television and got a response. I have passed this information to our sports controller, but it's his call. Of course, there was nothing broadcast as usual.
Didn't the Manchester, was it BBC Midland, not me, BBC local Manchester do something? Yeah. It was only very brief.
Apart from that, no, I didn't see anything anyway.
No.
And there's a bit in one of the newspapers, but only like a brief statement as well.
I want more information on this. Fair play to Phil Morris and friends who went up on the roof. No way would I do it.
There was something in the video that for Leon Flint and some of the riders, they went up on the roof and did like a view over and walked on the roof, looked at the stadium.
Oh, okay.
There's plenty of seats.
That was before the meeting. It was the ride, it was like Tony Ricardo's and that. Flint and it was Kasanga and Phil, I think.
Yeah.
Craig Smith went to Cardiff. Atmosphere was great as per previous years, even with a lesser crowd. Got stuck on the M5 back for 2.5 hours though. It did sound very loud on the television.
The atmosphere went mental. Then all the poles were quiet, but it was just that went in the air.
Did all the polls sneak away.
I think some of them went after Zarma because fell out.
Cabera, I have to say, Dominic Cabera rode very well. Obviously fourth in the final, but I mean he was the pick of the polls without a shadow of a doubt.
That's his first time in Cardiff as well.
Yeah, he was not ridden there before. Janowski did well, I thought as well. To be fair, I thought after a poor first race, got better.
Pulled himself out second and third.
He
wins.
He might have been a bit of a spoiler if he'd been able to, get through into the.
Because he did well in the middle of the palm, he slipped back at the end, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah.
I don't understand this remark from Ben, so maybe you need to retype it. Can anybody understand that?
Got there as a stadium open replacement bus. That was waiting for it as it finished.
But was waiting for it as it finished.
Do you not at the end time there?
In football, that's called drawing of lots, says Pete.
Yep.
He should know he is a football referee.
Yep.
Yes, yeah. Did you not know that? There you go. Michael Dukes, I just thought that if you're going back as far as people's rankings to decide people qualifying, then just set up a runoff for the riders involved. I actually like your idea of going for using the times that they do in the for the qualifying. Puts a little bit more importance on that as well.
It does a little bit, yeah.
There's a couple of rounds that have been like that this year. This is not the first round this year. That's been like within 2 or 3 points.
Yeah.
The top 8.
Fred Graham, shout out for S4C channel showing the GP on Saturday. Let's hope some local channels look into showing heats in their sports updates. Would be good, wouldn't it? It would be good. Okay,
Well done, Channel 4.
It's not the Welsh Channel 4.
Scottish, isn't it?
Welsh.
What was it?
There's a bit of a difference. Scotland and Wales.
Just a little.
Same thing.
Yakida. So, okay, we're up to date. Oh, no, we're not. We've got a few more. We've got another shout. Craig Smee, did anyone see how Magic missed out on the semis? Someone said it was drawn out of the hat. Someone else said it was because he wasn't a regular GP rider and a substitute. Others saying count back, but didn't Magic beat Bewley when they met each other? But that was the problem, wasn't it? They all beat each other.
And they could break up on some heat wins, but not the bottom.
It was done on his ranking.
Yeah. But there needs to be something put in place to decide something a bit quicker than that, because you can't just have people standing around waiting for 20 minutes.
They should have knew this was coming. They should have been doing something in the behind the scenes.
I do think using the times and the qualification would have stopped all of that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, the result rough, I think, would have been equally as... they had plenty of time to put a run off in the time to mess about and get all that sorted.
Absolutely.
What do you think about the fireworks? Well, they seemed less than normal. And
I usually film them, and I'd barely got my camera out when they stopped.
Was there? It was not even. It was under a minute.
Yeah.
That was worse than the Nations. Was much better than that. It was 2.5.
It's just somebody with a sparkler.
Basically, yeah. They still didn't open the roof with the fireworks anyway. So.
No. And then did even do a closing parade or anything, or
no? It just seemed to be very little effort put into it, which was disappointing, because you think of
it's a massive day out, is it?
It is Speedway's big day out.
It's a shame.
Hey ho.
But of course, I think they've pretty much said that it's going to be at Cardiff next year, which
I'm trying to get round. Is the dates lose you out by
which will disappoint all the people who say it should be at Bellevue.
Are they talking? Some people think there's an every 2, but that might be affordable.
Well, the crowds keep going down. It might fit in Bellevue. Richie Big Boy Racing said GP was boring apart from 2 races. I mean, I wouldn't have called it boring. It was quite gate and go for a lot of the time.
Was boring.
Last night,
yeah.
It was all done by the first lot of them, yeah.
Yeah. I thought the track did. It
certainly wasn't the worst GP that we've seen this year.
No. Certainly wasn't the worst GP I've seen at that track as well. I've seen 5.
But I think the race, I think it made it so because the dates were so sick. You felt like some of the dates you couldn't get anything from, so that's what made it so close in the leaderboard, especially the middle ones.
Okay, so Ben Croswell did get there. Yeah. We arrived at the stadium as it opened at 3, missed the fan zone. The replacement bus was outside waiting for us as the fireworks finished, 2 back to Ipswich at 2:05 on Sunday morning. Hope that's more English. There you go. It definitely was.
Craig says the fireworks used to be a spectacle in itself. The riders used to come out on trikes and do a lap of a track before the meeting with flags. There was none of that this year. When you think of the amount of money that allegedly is being invested by Discovery into sort of the presentation of meetings, that was really...
I think we're one of the worst for that at the end. The locals have been doing a lot more than the European ones as well.
They have been, yeah. So you look at the Warsaw Grand Prix, which seems to have sort of usurped Cardiff, I think, as the one as the glamour one, the one that everybody wants to win. Obviously, the British rides, it means more to win at Cardiff because it's a home Grand Prix, but.
And I think for the Australian riders a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think so, yeah.
Okay, so...
Caught up again.
The fan zone was mentioned. Did either of you two partake of said fan zone?
I didn't. Was it in the same place that it was?
Yeah, we were in for an hour, but it was. I think it was judging there, but I think that the mountain bike thing on. The problem was with that if you weren't wearing the front, you couldn't do the whole thing because a lot of it's on the floor. They had a big trike zone. Then the auto draft thing, but they just said. I think the problem with that is they have a not long enough session. I'd probably say because so many people don't fit. Then it's limited, isn't it?
Yeah, we didn't see it, to be fair.
The memorabilia thing was done upstairs. Then the a couple of stalls are in there, and just but the riders get involved, and they just do good atmosphere in there. But then, what I don't think they do, they do too much in there. They don't do anything before the meeting. Because they could do some stuff. They used like a mountain bike thing and all kind beforehand. They don't do anything anymore.
No, they don't. There's no pre-meeting entertainment at all, which is disappointing.
And then people down in there where the lights stand at the seat and relax, but there's nothing to watch for. So how do you work on that?
That's it. So.
Okay. So, have you been to any more meetings this week?
I went to Sheffield on Thursday, and that was a bit of a downtake.
In what sense?
That we just couldn't even do anything. Sheffield was just too dominant. It was a night of mechanical issues, I'd probably say as well. With a few of the riders not picking up the points, and then we tried to put it back, but Linwood and Brennan did the job, and a couple of others, but they just live issues, and we couldn't do it for days either. Date 4 was not very good the first half of the meeting, and then when Sheffield got the second half of it, they seemed to come on and do the job. So it was just like we had 2 heat advantages out the whole night. It was like and then we got 6 last night. So I just don't know. Just don't think we've got the couple. Like you say, Sheffield are not doing bad, but I seem to have pulled out 2 wins in my last 2 meetings.
Yeah.
Birmingham were never going to win at Sheffield, though.
How about not? There wasn't ever going to win there.
No, well, let's be honest, Birmingham were never going to win anyway.
Can't win at home, never mind winning at Sheffield. I mean,
we've kept it close a couple of times. Like Oxford, we nearly did it, and Leicester, we needed it, but major anything. I was at the Grand Prix Saturday, and then that's it, really. So Birmingham last night, but.
Yeah, Craig Street says the bike trials needed to be on a raised area. I felt as if you weren't on the front 2 rows, you couldn't see a thing.
It was about 7-8 rows back, and you could see the flips at the top, but you couldn't see anything on the floor.
That's a shame.
Now when I saw the Bellevue one, because it was a lot of the quieter fans, so you got to the whole thing.
So, more things for them to.
Hopefully, they'll make a bit more of an effort for next year. Yeah. I think so. I think we
sort of have a golden generation at the moment of speedway riders in this country coming through with the likes of Lambert and Bewley and Tom Brennan.
Yeah.
Then you've probably got some coming through in a few years as well. That could come in as well. So we're not totally out of options.
It's we've now won the British GP. We've won
Nations.
The Speedway of Nations. The only one now missing really is the World Team Cup.
Yeah, which obviously is going to be 2026 is the next one. I don't know where it's going to be staged. They haven't announced it yet.
Well, usually year by year, don't they?
Yeah.
Is that the biggest team?
That's the biggest team one, yeah.
Well, I always find if we can do it in our country, when we do the other country, we can either just about miss out.
Yeah, but I mean that was a great effort last year, but just fell short at the end.
I mean, just miss out, yeah.
Pete Clark says, "Come on, Elliot. At Birmingham, I bet the away supporters are winning the 50-50 draws."
What do you...
Well, the away is winning everything else at Birmingham, don't they, at the moment? So.
Well, it was one of the sponsors the week before. I don't know what we did last night. The video was claimed by the time I come back from the pits.
Anyway, enough of that. Shall we do a quick look at where we are in the playoffs in each league? See what we think. While you're looking for that, Craig Smith said they used to do pre-meeting entertainment in the stadium as well years ago. I remember a tribute band called Killer Queen. Oh, yeah. They were good. I remember them getting Ray Quinn off X Factor one year as well.
Yeah, they did seem to go through a phase of getting X Factor.
Nothing.
People
well, somebody's got to, I suppose.
Yeah. So, I mean, the best one was Susie Quattro. That was 2002.
I would have liked to have seen
Chris, you got nothing on YouTube tonight?
No, I'm fine.
Yep.
Very quiet there.
Who did the first? Who was the entertainment at the first one? I can't remember his name. He's passed away now. He was Edwin Starr. He did the first one.
Yeah.
Edwin Starr.
In 2001.
Wow.
So
wow, that's a star.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Double R.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll have a look at the Premiership first of all. We will have a look at the National League because obviously people say that we neglect the National League. It's not intended.
No.
So Sheffield obviously on 30 points from 21. Leicester now into second place, 27 from 21.
You've got the bonus points in there?
Yeah. Sorry, that's the bonus. Yeah. Sorry. But right. Start again. Thanks, Elliot. Sheffield 38 from 21, Leicester 34 from 21, Ipswich 34 from 21. You've got to be somewhere. You're looking at your watch.
No.
Bellevue 31 from 20 matches, Oxford 25 from 22. So, as things stand at the moment, you would have quarterfinal. It's going to be first and fourth and second and third, isn't it? So at the moment, it stands to be Sheffield and Bellevue and Leicester against Ipswich, but of course that might possibly change in the next.
I think Sheffield and Bellevue will end up quite as a scenario because they seem to be quite close matches.
Yeah.
So you're looking at Sheffield being top, aren't you?
Well, Leicester have got kindling last two fixtures, but I do think Sheffield and Sheffield could pull it out the bad next week as well. And Bellevue have got kindling away and Ipswich away. They could pull something tomorrow, but after that they've got two easy away ones. It's what they can vote at one home meeting after the Bellevue.
Yeah, I think with Leicester and Sheffield, Leicester and Ipswich is going to really depend on, unfortunately, guests again, isn't it? So, which one's Robert Lambert going to guest for this year? So,
yeah.
Unfortunately, he can't.
Well, they can't assign.
No.
Can he guest?
No, he's not every
lineup. He can't ride. So.
Do you think? What about Chris Harris? He'll desk somewhere.
Well, Bomber was built for the place, wasn't he? So it's his speciality.
Do you see Freddie Lingram?
I've already got that in mind for Ipswich, I think.
Possibly. I think if Birmingham hadn't got in for him, I think Ipswich might well have been tempted to look at him.
I think he's going to be there anyway. I think they've already got in there.
Ben Craswell says, what are the chances the Witches winning next week against Birmingham, home and away? It will be embarrassing if they lose.
Well, they've already lost to Birmingham once, haven't they? So.
Yeah, but they're not going to. If Birmingham, and Dave Albrighton says if Birmingham go any lower, they will fall off the coupon.
The only thing is when we go to Ipswich, they can't bring in. They've only got one thing to bring Destiny, so it might help us there. But then on Monday they've got lots of options.
Nah, doesn't matter.
So I don't know, maybe difference anyway.
The team's broken.
Yeah.
Bonnie Tyler committing a crime against the music industry in your ears at Cardiff GPs.
She was dreadful.
Oh yes.
Really? I thought she might have been good at live.
She was good in the 80s, but she wasn't so good in 2015 or whenever it was that she did Cardiff. So.
Graham Alsford says, like the young Pole at Brum, will be a good rider. Think he beat Jack Holder at Sheffield on Thursday. Talking about Victor Lampard, of course. Yeah, I mean, everybody at Birmingham loves him. He's a battler, isn't he?
Yeah,
he doesn't give up. And a really nice guy. He handed out photos as a thank you to the supporters on.
Yes, so they're pretty much done by
and gave some to the support staff as well. Because I've got one. I don't know whether you.
I've got one. Yeah, Sarah got me one. Yeah.
So I mean, things like that. They're worth a lot.
He's done really well in his first season as well. Bear in mind, come on, he's got better.
Simon Corbett says Lindgren guesting for Ipswich in Cup final.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What about that BSM thing as well? Because we ain't watching that, so that could happen as well potentially.
Okay, let's have a look at the Championship then. So, Pool 28 from 14. Of course, they were on the end of a surprise defeat at home to Oxford. Having said that, Oxford are second, 23 from 12. Scunthorpe 23 from 15, and Workington 19 from 15. So still very much in the balance at the moment.
And you've got Glasgow that could push in there as well.
Glasgow got 14, Redcar have got 14, although Glasgow have got 2 matches in hand on Redcar and 3 matches in hand on Workington.
They don't have the rest of seasons, Glasgow, but they could pull it out at the
Mathematically, Plymouth could still get there. I mean, they've got 12 from 14. But I think they're too likely. But they've done well. They've done better than I think a lot of people would expect.
They've got a busy weekend of fixtures on travelling, but here they're having number one.
Yeah, so that one, I think, Poole are going to be the favourites to win that league again, aren't they? There's no question about it.
Poole have pretty much finished at the moment. They've got 2 away ones left to come.
Yeah, I mean, they're just beating teams for fun at the moment, aren't they?
Didn't beat Oxford for fun, though, did they?
But they didn't beat Sunthorpe either.
Okay. And let's have a look, finally, at the National League.
Which is obviously just the champions. There's no playoffs or anything.
Yeah, of course. Leicester...
That's the way it should be.
Well, yeah, it should be 2 separate ones. I
think it should be in the Championship and the National League because there's no TV deal in those. Anyway, Leicester 16 from 7, Oxford 13 from 8, Scunthorpe 6 from 5, Bellevue 5 from 6, Middlesbrough 5 from 9, and Edinburgh 2 from 5.
Leicester have got that in their bag.
Yeah, I think so. Leicester obviously got a great record in the National
I know
League.
they've got no more home left, but the fifth pretty much sorted.
Yeah.
And they've got. The other thing as well is with the National League, they've estimated Oxford and Edinburgh. I think then they'll probably beat. They probably might be up. They'll probably be at Edinburgh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing with the Championship as well, but they've got the BSM for the play, haven't they? They're all on their streaming thing, aren't they? All the finals.
Yes, they are.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. I think it's probably about time. Are we not on YouTube then?
Yeah, sorry about that. I think we had some problems with the stream for YouTube. So it's on now, but I'll put the full show up tomorrow. So apologies for that.
Ben Cresswell says Paul should go up to the Premiership next year. I don't think there's a cat and mouse chance of them doing it.
They're Amazon on a move waste, aren't they? They tried it before and it failed.
Duncan Pemberton says, how come we have reverted to the league toppers getting 3rd place and 2nd versus 4th? Surely your prize of topping the league is to choose your opponents. I have some sympathy with that. I thought that was a good talking point at who we're going to...
Yeah, I thought I did like that.
Why don't they do something like a trophy to who finishes top? And then a trophy for the player, because you should be just. What's the point of finishing top?
They did that one.
Don't get him started on that.
Yeah, don't. They did do that one, didn't they?
I do it in other sports.
Yeah, rugby being the prime example.
Mm-hmm.
Hockey as well.
It's 1st versus 4th and 2nd versus 3rd, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
My only big thing as well is who would do the Monday night, because you do have 3 Thursday clubs as well, so it's
That's it.
Okay,
right.
Shall we get on with our
we'll
predictions league?
As I say, you may have seen my post on Facebook yesterday. Unfortunately, the league table file that I've got has decided to corrupt itself, so I can't. I will try and get that resolved as soon as I can and get that posted.
That's probably going on
what you're trying to say is that I'm now in 1st place. I got you. Okay.
Yeah, you're in 1st place, and my computer thought, no chance. you're not about to disqualify again.
Yeah.
So
you're just under me.
Yeah.
The bishop.
Well, we had to get rid of him at number one way or the other. This is it's the best idea.
He's still there, but it's still very.
Still annoyingly just out of arm's reach. So
I'm thinking that. So I've closed the dab, but I still can't. It's still too far away.
Right then. Okay.
Okay, then let's go.
Let's go.
It's Chris to start, I'm afraid.
Oh, great.
Okay, so your starter for 10 is Oxford against Glasgow tomorrow night in the Championship.
Glasgow. Okay. I'll go Oxford by 4.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same.
Oxford by 8.
Oxford by 10.
And if Oxford win that tomorrow, I think they'd last those chances of written out.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, BSN Series semi-final, first leg also tomorrow night, Poole against Workington.
That's up to me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Poole by 16.
Poole by 10.
Poole by 14.
Poole by 12.
Okay. Moving on to Thursday night in the Premiership, Kings Lynn against Oxford.
It's up to you.
Kindling by 6.
Oxford by 4.
Oxford by 8.
Draw.
Okay, we get one in somewhere.
Yeah, I got to.
Okay, also tomorrow in the National League, Sheffield Cubs against Leicester Lion Cubs.
And that's down to Matt, yeah.
Yep. Leicester by 10.
I'll go Leicester by 14.
Leicester by 12.
Leicester by 8.
Also in the Premiership on Thursday night, Ipswich against Bellevue.
It's up to you, Chris.
Sorry, who is it again?
Ipswich against Bellevue.
I'll go Ipswich by 8.
That's a difficult one, that
It
is.
is, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's Bellevue. Bellevue don't lose, you does away.
A lot depends on who's guesting as well.
I've already know that, so I've got that in my head.
Who's guesting?
So you got Zach Cook in for Ellis because the Leicester I didn't want to do anything,
Okay.
and obviously Nichols in as normal in RR.
Okay, Bellevue by 2.
I've done Bellevue by 10. I'm in a bit of a
Bellevue by 6. I'll go for on that one.
Okay.
Redcar against Plymouth is the next one. That's on Friday night in the Championship.
It's up to me. Redcar by 16.
red car by 10.
Redcar by 22.
Where? Okay.
Redcar by 18.
Staying in the Championship on Friday night, Glasgow against Oxford.
That's up to you, Elliot.
48, 42 to Glasgow.
I'll go Glasgow by 4.
I'll go Glasgow by 6.
Glasgow by 6.
Okay.
I'm getting good at this. I
It's a bit late now to try and make a late charge to win it.
Yeah. No,
Okay,
I'm trying, but it's not going to work.
The other semi-final of the BSN series, the first leg is also on Friday. That's Edinburgh against Scunthorpe.
It's up to you, Matt.
See you, Matt.
Edinburgh by 4.
Edinburgh by 8.
Edinburgh by 6.
Edinburgh by 8.
Okay. Saturday night in the Championship.
I've already wrote mine down.
Saturday night in the Championship, it's the South Coast Derby, Plymouth against Poole.
Chris.
And that's up to you, Chris.
Poole by 4.
Poole by 8.
Put by 8.
Poole by 6. Then on Sunday in the National Development League, Oxford against Leicester, top of the table clash.
Who was it against Leicester, sorry?
Oxford at home.
Yep.
Oxford. Okay. Leicester by 2.
I'm going to feel off this. Leicester by 8.
Oxford by 2.
I think it is that close.
Leicester by 6. Said that with confidence, didn't I?
No.
Yeah, just to break off there, Ben Cresswell, how do you enter the prediction league for next season? Only just discovered it. You can do it for the rest of this season as well. Just post your scores on Facebook, Ben will. We usually put them on Sunday lunchtime, the fixtures for the following week, so just post them on there.
It's going to be your practice.
Or you can
next
post them during the show. It's up to
Yeah.
you. So, but you can join in now. You're not going to win it, obviously, but you can.
A bit of fun.
It's a bit of fun.
You might finish above Michael.
Yes,
But,
we never
that's
win it
almost
either.
guaranteed.
yeah.
That also gives you a bit of a practice at it, and just do the same next year. You don't have to enter it as such.
Okay. Okay. Next one on Sunday in the Championship is Workington against Plymouth.
It's up to you.
Well, Plymouth are doing a lot of piles this weekend, but I think they'll lose by 6 on Sunday.
Workington by 4.
Workington by 10.
Strangely enough, I'm going to go Workington by 10 as well.
Okay.
Told you somebody else has got Workington by 10.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And then on Monday,
see
first of all, in the Premiership, a 12 o'clock start, Bellevue against Sheffield.
And that's up to you, Matt.
Bellevue by 6.
Oh, I'm going to go Sheffield by 4.
Interesting. Am I going to go a draw? No, I'm going to say Bellevue by 6.
I'm going to say Bellevue by 10. Leeds come strong at the end, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Okay, next up is Birmingham against Ipswich.
That's up to you, Chris.
Come on, Chris.
Ipswich by 18.
Ipswich by 18. That's exactly what I've got
Really?
in my head, yeah.
I've got Ipswich by 10.
Really getting good at this.
I've got Ipswich by 12.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, and the final one is the return.
Bless
from
you,
the,
Craig's me.
Yep. And the final one is the return
Possibly
match
a win.
from the,
It's on
12,
the- it's on
from
the
the 12
books.
o'clock start, Sheffield against Bellevue. That's the return one.
Sheffield versus.
And that's the Euro Sport meeting.
It's up for me. Oh, that's a big one, isn't it?
Yep.
Draw.
That's anticlimax.
Sheffield by 6.
Sheffield by 6.
Sheffield by 4.
There you go.
Okay.
Seems a lot of fixtures this week as well. It's a bit.
Bank holiday, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
always get extra fixtures when there's a bank holiday. So.
I think people are trying to squeeze in before deadline as well.
Well, I've said this many times on here, haven't I? So, why on earth we have great big long gaps in the fixture and then we get to the end of August and everybody
Yeah.
starts,
Yeah.
oh, quick, put him in there, put him in there, put him in there,
And then if you look at Plymouth this week, they're going to Wegcar and then back down south
Yeah.
and then to Works. And there's no logic in that.
And then you get the biggest bane of my life, double headers, hating with a passion.
There is one coming up in September, I've noticed. National League, but not now League. Oh, some football doing one next Friday.
Yeah, I won't be taking them on. So.
No, I don't know that either.
And here is my ridiculous question for the week. What is the most ridiculous rule in Speedway?
We could be here all
And
night.
there's a lot of
working
them.
that one. Yeah. Most ridiculous rule in
Birmingham have to
Speedway.
lose every week. Is that
Yeah,
the
I don't think that's the rule. I think
It is a rule, yeah.
the habit? I think more
It's a
than
rule
the
of thumb.
Craig Smee loves the double header on a bank holiday.
The lunchtime and the evening one works.
Track's never good for the second meeting, is it?
Yeah. If you're doing two different tracks on the same, that works well. If you're doing two at the same track, I think it just.
Yeah, home and away.
You're probably not old enough to remember the Dudley Walsh Travy double headers on a bank holiday, are you?
No.
Yeah. Needed the tin out for those, I tell you.
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, they were really. They could be really nasty sometimes.
And you've got 7 minutes left for your rider of the week.
Another thing, because with double head, if you're doing it more than often, I think the second means sometimes it cashes a team out and they're not prepared. They're too knackered as well.
I think you're more talking about a double header at the same track, aren't you?
That's right.
That can work badly in your favour as well.
Cradley, the Dudley Walsh Travy, Cradley used to be in the morning at 11:30, and then the second leg was at Monmouth.
So here's a ridiculous rule, or it would look ridiculous to an outsider, I guess. You can have a situation, and I have seen a situation where in a double header, you got one team against the other, and then in the second, for the second two meeting, you obviously got the home team again, but using a couple of the riders from the first team that they've just ridden against as guests for their team.
No.
Yes.
It does happen. It happens.
That happened.
Yes.
Well, I've told Seb before that happened in the Knockout Cup final in '89. Jimmy Nielsen guested for Walls in the first leg and Cradley in the second leg, and he actually got a winner and loses his medal at the same time.
I've even seen it before where the home team they use a different rider on the second night, take someone from the away team as well, because the wall doesn't count because it's on the same night.
Okay, so we got a few things on the rules. Dave Twine says the yellow helmet covers, half of them look white on TV. They look white.
Why did
They look white on
They
them.
should be yellow. It should be yellow and black like
Yeah.
it used
Well,
to be.
sometimes
As you can
wasn't it one last week on a our meeting? You couldn't tell it was yellow, it looked like it was white.
What's wrong with black? You're gonna know it.
I don't
aren't you?
know what was the what. Why didn't we just go back to green like we used to be clear then?
But green, you get mixed up with
Grains
blue.
too, yeah, that's it.
It's-
Especially when it's meeting when it's dark. So
Yeah, or
Probably
pink.
valid points.
But I think like a black helmet.
yeah,
Yeah, black would be good. Or have like all black, denim and black, like stripes.
Stripes.
yeah, that's what it used to be.
Yeah,
Yellow and black,
spots.
yellow and black
No,
quarters.
that's spots.
That's what it was when I started watching Speeder, and there was no problem with that.
I do agree with Simon Corbett here. Rules should be brought back. Tactical subs 6 down, not just once. So it used to be that if you're 6 down, you can put in another rider. You can only do it once,
Yeah, correct.
each rider.
But what I have
you can,
noticed-
but you can do it more. But you can do a tactical sub more than once.
I've noticed sometimes now as well because sometimes every time one team and then the other team pulls back and the other team did it as well.
Yeah, but
Right, just open it up.
it should only be available.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say because I'll just keep
For the
going.
home
It
team.
should only be available for the away team.
Yeah.
It should only be available for the away team. Ben Cress will say, I hate the yellow and whites. Should be different colours.
Yeah.
Pink, says Dave Twine.
Yeah, I think pink would. Yeah, it would work.
That would.
That would throw us a problem. I've never seen that.
Yeah, it would work, I think.
Well, when some I've known riders that had were wearing the white helmet covers, and they had actually got red helmets, so you could actually it did actually look like it was pink through the white
Right.
material.
But I sometimes find off as well. They've got the peck of the helmet is a different colour, and then they put the
Yeah.
cover on top.
Brian Reeson says not many postponed meetings in August. Oh, he's said it now.
Yeah.
There has been. There's been about a
now.
handful.
August hasn't finished yet.
Snow now.
So it's going to snow. So everyone should finish in time before cut-off dates.
But there has been some lucky ones the last week or so that have striped it when you could have called them off. Like last night, for instance, it didn't rain at all. Leicester had it as one in the hands.
Yeah. Well, I would have... No, I wouldn't have wanted a rain off last night. I want this season out.
Yeah, I think we all do.
I think,
Well, there's obviously the last league meeting, and of course you got the British Youth Championship and the Alan Graham Memorial meeting. That's the last one, isn't it? So
I'm thinking... Well, I will tell you what I've been told later, just in case I'm giving away trade secrets.
You may have been told the same thing as I have. We'll compare notes.
And that's the same night as the playoffs as well. Will that put people off coming as well, or I don't know?
I think Bewley is the rider of the week this week.
Okay.
By a mile.
Okay.
I was just trying to do something different. I've just thought...
Well, gentlemen, I've just looked at the time, and it's just about that time to disappear.
Yep.
One more question. Have you ever seen a team as badly positioned as this Birmingham team is? I can think of one team, actually, now I haven't said that.
Millsnall.
Newcastle in their last season.
I think Millsnall didn't know that one season where they lost every single meeting.
Yeah, well, we haven't done that, thank goodness, for small mercies.
Yeah.
But and we're keeping it pretty close when we lose.
Giving it a good go, admittedly.
Yeah, and we've kept it close on numerous occasions. And on that, we'll go. Adios.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.